everyone, and welcome to a super special spin-off episode of Phenomena called Phenomena Séance. As you can probably tell from the intro, it's giving Ouija board, it's giving conjuring, it's giving let's conjure up the spirits of people that are not dead. They are alive. They're very much alive and well. And our very first person that we're conjuring up for episode 1 is my good friend Sean Parker. Yay, Sean! Hi, Sean.
Hello. Hi. I'm so thrilled to be here. I'm so glad that you decided to summon me.
Yes. Did you
I
feel it? Were
heard
you like, oh,
I
I'm being
did.
summoned?
I felt like an electrical charge around
Yeah,
me in the room and something calling to me from beyond the veil, and here I am, and
there
I'm
you
excited
go.
to be here.
That's the power of
Yeah.
phenomena.
Yeah.
Amazing. You
Phenomena.
just astral
Yes.
projected like,
Yeah.
okay,
Dude,
here I am now.
next time I'm on, I expect that full treatment. I want to be like pulled into
Yes.
another dimension. Let's do it.
Yes, I'm
I
working
love
on
it.
it. I'm
Astral
working
project.
with a couple mediums. We're figuring out the astral plane
Sure.
stuff. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it's
We'll get
buffering,
there.
but we'll figure it out. Amazing. Yay. Thank you
Yes,
so
I'm so excited
much.
to be here.
Obviously, the
Of
very
course, thank you
first
for having
episode
me.
of Phenomena Seance. And you having me on your show, mostly horror podcast, which we'll talk about more at
Yes.
the end. Um,
Yeah.
was what it kind of inspired me to do this because you were gracious enough to extend the invitation to me for your episode, and I was like, this is really cool. And I went as far as even copying what you use to record it, which is Riverside FM. It's really cool. And yeah, I because of the whole kind of I know I probably mentioned this in an episode. I probably mentioned this to you separately as well, but I'll just reiterate the fact that like the reason Phenomena Sans came about was because we used to have guest writers, and now that we have 4 full-time writers, we're kind of sunsetting the guest writing bit of it. But I still wanted to like talk to like-minded creatives,
Sure.
and be able to cross promote and stuff. And so yeah, what better way to do that than a little interview show like this?
I am honored to have been part of the conception, part of the
Yeah.
idealization process, and to be the first guest. Like that's super exciting. And thank you so much for coming on my show. We
Of
had a
course.
blast, and 100% going to do that more in the future. And
Yes, please.
yeah, we have fun chats. I'm excited. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, yeah. It got existential. We went into
Yeah, dude.
AI, and oh, I love
Ugh.
it. I love it. It's so
I'm
fun.
gonna I'm gonna try so hard to keep my existentialness contained for the sake of the viewer and
That's
you in
fair.
this
That's fair.
episode.
You know me. Yeah, we whenever we talk offline, we get into like, well,
Yeah,
are colors the same for
yeah,
everyone? Who knows? Like, we'll
yeah,
have the most existential chats. So
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
mind that
yeah.
at all. And I'm sure you know what? If the viewers of Phenomena who enjoy listen to me yap all day long, I'm like, why wouldn't they enjoy listening to me and another person yap all day long? You know what I mean? So
A
yap
hundred
away.
percent.
I love it.
Yeah, yeah. It's ultimately I just want to keep things coherent
Yes.
because I feel like I'm kind of crazy in my brain, and
Same.
I think that like if there's any truth to phenomena, it's not multiple different phenomenas. It's like one thing
Yeah.
manifesting in multiple ways for the
Ooh.
most part. I'm weird, so let's
Ooh,
get into
I like that though.
it.
Okay, okay, so perfect segue into kind of the whole point of this series is to find out what your favorite I said series and Siri on my phone turned on. No, not you, Siri. She's gonna turn back on now. But yeah,
That's a
speaking of
phenomena.
AI, listening, Jesus.
Yeah, she's a little
But
phenomena.
yeah, so do you have any personal phenomena experiences? And then do you have any favorite phenomena?
That's yeah. That's okay. So that's a lot. That's
I know,
big.
I
That's a
know.
big question. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna flip the question if that's okay. I
Sure.
think I'm gonna
Yeah.
start with favorites,
Love
and
it.
I'll just tell you that like I've always been a spooky kid. Like I was always really into creepy stuff
No
and ghost and
way.
things.
You have a
Yeah.
podcast called Mostly Horror, but you hate horror,
Mine.
right? You're not into that.
Well, funny enough, as a kid, I was a big scaredy cat, even though I was spooky curious,
Yeah.
is what I'm gonna call it. And yeah, so I didn't watch horror movies as a kid, but I watched like horror for kids. I was really into like Nightmare Before Christmas and Goosebumps
Goosebumps,
and stuff
yeah.
like that. Yeah, and
Do you know Bunnicula?
oh, of course, yeah,
I'm
the
so
book,
glad you
yeah,
know Bunnicula.
dude,
I used to
Mi-
love Bunnicula. Makes me
Miss
cry.
Evanko's Miss Evanko, my third grade teacher, read Bunnicula to us when I was in third grade, and it was a great time. And I was just like, "Ooh, we get spooky in school. This is great."
Yes.
Especially since the year before, my second grade teacher was like, no one's allowed to rent Goosebump books from the library."
Wow.
And I'm like, "Boo!" So I joined the fan club. Either way,
Yeah.
that's besides the
Yes.
point.
Amazing.
Point is, I remember being very interested in Ghost, and then I heard about the Loch Ness monster, and the Loch Ness monster still holds
Yeah.
a very dear place in my heart. Admittedly, I am no longer the avid believer that I was when I was a kid,
Fair.
but she still means the world to me. And yeah,
Nessie.
me and my me yes Nessie, me and my buddy John, we call him Tubby. Me and my buddy
Not
Tubby
Tubby.
used to yeah, it's not mean at all. I promise it's not. It's just like it just happened, and we've called him that since it was a kid, so it's weird for me to call him John. But we used to go to our school library and rent out books on different like phenomena when I was a kid, and I always
Amazing.
got Loch Ness monster and ghost books, and he always got Bigfoot and aliens, and I was like, aliens, that's ridiculous, and now I'm full alien pilled. So to make a long answer short, Nessie is probably my favorite
I
in
love
terms of
that.
like deeply meaningful to me, but in terms of the one that I'm the most interested in right now and most likely believe in, it is aliens.
Hmm.
But I do have some ghost or like ghost like experiences in my past
Ooh,
that make me question things. I don't
for
really
sure.
I don't know what I believe there anymore, and it's complicated. Um, so yeah, I can tell you a specific story, like a strange summer I had, if you'd like to
Yes.
hear it.
Yes.
Okay,
Absolutely.
okay. So this is where I find this interesting, and it kind of taps into. I recently watched your game. I don't remember the name of
Game
it. We
transfer
just talked about
phenomena.
game transfer phenomena,
Yeah.
and that kind of leads me into like a weird foundation. I guess I should set for any listeners. Uh, that I think that like the fact that we exist is weird, and I kind of think we're all just like existence experiencing itself, and
Yes.
so that
Agreed.
is a very open idea that allows for a lot of weird things. I had a summer where my sleep. This was right before college. I had a summer where my sleep was really bad. My sleep's never been great, but this summer it was particularly bad, and we wanted to kind of fix it before starting classes and stuff. So I went to see like a sleep specialist, and we were doing all kinds of things and like doing this like adjustment, slowly pushing hours back,
Mhm.
which messed up my sleep even more. But basically, I started seeing shadow people. I started hallucinating a lot,
Oh no.
and I would see like clear as day, like shadow figures. It would be everything. I remember once I was driving and it's night, and I see like a figure standing almost like under a street light, and as I'm driving, like the movement put a tree in front of it for a second, and then when it came out the
It
other
was
side, it
gone.
was gone. Yes,
No.
yeah,
No. The
and
classic.
yeah, it
That's
but
like a horror movie trope, but like to see that in real life is jarring.
100%. It's straight out of a movie, you
Hmm.
know. But even then, like I wasn't. I don't know how to like. I was super. I was even more skeptical about stuff then than I am now, and I was very like I'm hallucinating. But slowly over time, the figures were getting closer to me.
Same
When I
drive
would see them,
or
no. This
over
was
time?
this
Oh,
was
over
like
time.
it was a yeah. This was like we'll say like a month and a half period over a summer before
Mm.
going into college, where it started seeing weird things, seeing shadow figures off in the distance, and slowly they got closer to the very weird night that I'm going to tell you about right now. So I come home late one night. I'm living with my aunt and uncle at the time, and I walk into the house. I walk up a set of stairs to get to like the second floor where there's a bathroom and my bedroom right across the hall from each other. I go into my bedroom, I kind of drop my backpack off and stuff. I go into the bathroom, do my thing. I come out and I'm looking at my phone. So like I open the door and I'm looking at my phone, so I'm not looking out ahead of me. And I look up and I see a full shadow, like kind of like almost like slightly shape shifting, like wavy, smoky figure standing right in front of me, like a
Hate
couple
that.
feet away from me, dude, right there. I see it clear as day, dude. I
Does it
can't
have a
stress enough that
face or it's just an
no,
outline?
it was just yeah, it looked like imagine if like really dark smoke took like
A
a
humanoid.
faceless yes, yeah,
Mm.
humanoid smoke standing right in front of me. I look up and it was kind of like reflex that I did it. I was mainly still focused on my phone, so I look up and I look back down at my phone, and then I do like the cartoon double take, and it's gone. And for me, like my heart's racing, and I'm just like, dude, your sleep is so messed up. Like, it's that didn't happen. It's not real. Like you're hallucinating. And I turn my head to the right and I look into my aunt and uncle's bedroom at the end of the hall. Their door is open and I can see them asleep in their bed and their TV is like lighting them up. I look for 2 seconds. Like walk into my room. I go to bed. I accept that it was a hallucination. But the next morning, I come downstairs. Can I swear on the show?
Sure, yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to make sure
Yeah.
moving forward. My uncle, because what he said, quote, when I came downstairs, my uncle was like, "What the fuck were you doing last night?" And I'm like,
Are
"What
they
do you
awake?
mean?" He said, "You scared the hell out of me." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "I heard you come home. You woke me up when you came home. You walked upstairs, went into the bathroom, and when you came out of the bathroom, you stopped and you turned and you stared into our room for like 5 minutes." And I was like, "No, I didn't." He's like, "Yes, you did." He's like, "I called your name multiple
No.
times." And
No.
he's like, "I was starting to stand up to go like confront you to see what was going on. And you just turned and walked into your room." So what felt like a couple seconds for me was multiple, like, I guess I lost time and was just staring into his room and freaked him out.
Y-
And,
Did you see him starting to get up or he was
no,
that's
no,
what
I
that
didn't
makes me
hear
think like were you guys was that a split reality thing? Like what?
it. So, okay, if I entertain like the paranormal side of it,
Mhm.
my brain goes, maybe I was being followed by jinns. Maybe I had demons or weird entities or ghosts or whatever that were following me. And it like tried to possess me for a second and it didn't work, of which I didn't feel anything. But the logical part of my brain, the skeptical part of my brain goes, I clearly had like a mental, like my brain was so exhausted and tired and going through a lot that I'm hallucinating. And I essentially like went into like a trance
You were
state,
right, right.
you
Yeah.
know? Yeah. And just kind of like lost time. Like I don't like, I just shut down and essentially like fell asleep for all intents and purposes,
Right.
and then woke up and didn't realize that I had done it. Do you ever like lay in bed and you think that you like look at the time, you're like it's midnight, and then you're laying there just thinking, and then you look at the time and
It's like 2.
it's 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're
Yeah.
like, how the hell? I fall asleep? I don't remember falling asleep. It felt like that
Yeah.
when
Time's
he told
also
me,
like a
but yeah,
social construct, so it's like I never trust I don't know. Time's weird
yeah,
in general.
yeah. 100%. Yeah, don't even get me started on time.
Literally.
That goes into like I have all sorts of ideas about that when it comes to ghost and things and yeah, man. But so I've had like a couple things happen. I've seen TVs turn on and off and like flip through channels really fast. I've
Ooh,
even seen, yeah, dude, that's a whole other
that's
story
really
if you want.
creepy.
Yeah, but even then, like it's interesting to me that when like things start moving around someone's house, we immediately go into ghost territory.
Sure.
But it's like there's all sorts of other phenomena that could cause
Right.
like a move, like something moving on its own, or even hearing a voice or things like that doesn't necessarily mean that there's like a spirit there doing it. Existence is weird, and something weird happening doesn't mean you have to like jump into the next territory, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Cool. Yeah, no, that actually I feel like makes me want to go into what my idea of like paranormal is. And
sure.
this is for some reason like somewhat recently I've decided that this is my stance on it and it makes the most sense to
Okay.
me and so I'm like gun ho about it.
I love it.
But I didn't always I guess think this way. And actually the episode that comes out next week, the one after Game Transfer Phenomena, is about the Brown Lady of Raynham Hall, who is one of the first recorded ghost sightings in like a photograph. And, you know, obviously
Ooh.
people say, is it a hoax? Is it not? It's like the Nessie
Sure.
photograph and Bigfoot photograph and stuff.
Yeah,
But
of course.
so I feel like what makes the most sense to me is that, sorry, also, did you hear the like, ding? I don't know if you heard
I
that jingle.
did.
Okay, that's
I
annoying.
did.
Anyway, hopefully that doesn't happen again. But, um, so I feel like with the veil of time being so thin, right? I think that intense feelings of like sadness and despair specifically are what somehow break that time barrier. It's almost like time traveling where the shadow or the kind of what manifests itself as like a spirit of what people see, like walking down, like the Brown Lady of Raynham Hall was seen walking down the stairs, right? And it's like,
Hmm.
I believe she was walking down the stairs in her time in the 1800s. She was walking down, and we're getting like a glimpse of that. So it's not that she's doing it now, even though we're seeing it now. It's for some reason we're catching a glimpse of something that she did when she was alive, but that feeling of intense because like something happened to her and you gotta watch the episode to find out.
Sure.
But basically it's like it made her feel very like in despair and this like very like intense sense of like dread and
Sure.
hopelessness. And so I feel like because and it also reminds me of like how you know how there's haunted asylums and stuff, and a lot of times I feel like the places that are the most haunted are places where really crazy shit happened and like really
Sure.
wild stuff happened. And a
Yeah.
lot of times it's like the intense sadness of the people there, I believe, is what brings about the kind of shattering of the barrier of time. And it's like, I don't think they're actually spirits that are doing things at that same time. It's just we're getting a glimpse of their essence as brought about by this intense feeling of despair of what they were doing in that time. So like what we're seeing is something they did when they were alive.
So I completely know what you're talking about. It's overall. I see it as like that's kind of like two ways of looking at what would be called like a residual
Yeah,
haunting.
right, right. Yes.
Um, yeah, it's so some people would think that like it's interesting that you're really leaning into the time thing of it, where we're seeing her in her time for like a second,
Yeah.
like a like almost like the two times are meeting. Which I have a thing I want to say about
Yeah.
that in 1 minute. But just to the flip of that would be that like she did that in her time, and then for whatever reason that moment is kind of recorded into
Yes.
the energy of the
Yes.
space.
Yes.
And so, okay, so is that more where you see it as
Yes.
like a recording or like okay,
Yeah.
okay, which yeah, and that's all the stories of like at this castle on at 3 a.m. on April 14th
Right.
every 7 years you can hear the lady of the garden scream out
Right.
because that's when she was murdered. Yeah, like those stories where her soul, quote unquote soul, isn't there just screaming every seven
Right.
years,
Exactly.
deciding like she's not clocking in,
Right.
but it's just a
She's like,
recording
ugh,
into
gotta
like the
gotta
yeah.
clock in to scream at the garden again.
Yes. Yeah, yes, yeah, yeah. No, residual hauntings are fascinating to me.
Yeah.
And the way that like a negative moment or a really intense feeling could record potentially into like the energy of a space is interesting in that regard and in like the poltergeist kind of regard.
Mm.
Um, but really quick to talk about the time thing, I just want to bring this. Did you ever watch Ghost Hunter on like Sci-Fi? Do you know
No,
Ghost Hunters?
but I feel
No?
like so many people have and have asked me if I watched it, and I don't think I ever have, but
Okay.
I've heard
So
great
I,
things.
got you. I want to stress it's not Ghost Adventures. It's not with
Okay.
Zach Bagans.
Okay.
It's it was like a paranormal investigation team called TAPS. It was like the Atlantic Paranormal Society or something like that.
Love.
When I was a kid, I was obsessed.
Oh
I
yeah.
was
Taps for
obsessed. I
life.
couldn't stop. Dude, TAPS for life. I have since learned that like a lot of their stuff was like set up and
No.
whatever. And
Taps,
I know
how could you?
devastating. Right, dude, it truly broke my heart
No.
and like shattered my
I'm
worldview
sorry.
because it introduced me to so many interesting ideas. It was more than just like people being scared about like a toy moving. But there's an episode where I apologize that I don't have the details on
No,
hand, but
who cares?
basically they
It's
went
fine.
to this hotel that a lot of like royalty and other like uh, diplomats and leaders from other countries stay at when they come to America for whatever. I don't remember the name of the hotel, but there was this one room that was like set aside for this specific queen. It sounds so vague, but I
Mhm.
promise you there's details in the episode like has
For
history that
sure.
I don't have.
Yeah, yeah.
But in the episode, I love EVP work. That's like
Yeah, yeah.
electronic
With the
voice
like
phenomena.
yeah.
Yes, I love when they record. They speak into a room and they record, and you don't hear anything, but then on the recording, you hear someone responding to them. I think that that's the
Oh
coolest idea.
yeah. Yeah,
And
yeah.
in this episode, they're asking the queen if she's there. They're like, are you here with us? Can you see us? Where are you? And on the recording, you hear her go, yes, I'm here. Where are you? And it was like she didn't. And in my head, I was like, wait a second. What if she's not dead? What if what if she's sitting there and she thought she heard a ghost?
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? And
Yes.
there was
Yes.
just, yes. And that,
That's crazy.
dude, it was the first time anything like that, like an idea like that had ever been introduced
So
into
like
my
you're saying
brain.
in her time while she was still alive, she heard someone say, "Are you the queen?" or something, and she's like,
Yeah,
"What the
yes, are you here? Right.
Yeah.
She thought she heard a ghost.
I
They
love
thought they heard a
that.
ghost.
I love that.
And neither,
I
yeah, and it's just
love
like
that.
and that really feeds it. I'm not going to go into my full whatever here. I don't want to like exhaust your listeners, but again, I kind of think that like I think existence is really weird, and I think that we are all just kind of existence experiencing itself, and I think that there's potential for ideas to kind of to
Like
interact like
blur,
that, you know?
yeah. Like I feel like
Yes,
what we
yes,
usually think of as like the past, present, and future, right? That's like we live our lives in a linear fashion in that we have
yeah,
past experiences and future experiences we don't know about yet. But I feel like there's always just the whole concept of like time traveling, right, has always been such an interesting one in the sci-fi space, and people have always been like, "How do we time travel?" and blah blah blah. And it's like,
right.
well, I feel like science has come out, and also I think it's like quantum physics. I don't know. I want to be a woman in
Mm.
STEM so bad, and I'm so
Dude,
not a woman in STEM at
we're
all.
trying. We're
We're
trying to
trying.
STEM.
I'm trying my
We're trying
best.
to science it up in here.
Exactly. Have you seen the meme that's like, "What are you doing?" And it's like, "My best." Doing my
Yeah,
best. Okay, that's what I'm doing. So bear with me.
relatable.
But I feel like
Yeah.
it's like quantum physics has said that like time is like a flat circle,
Sure.
actually, which is why I say time is
Yeah.
a flat circle. I don't know what that means really. Like I haven't sat with that, and I feel like I don't want to because I'm gonna have an existential crisis about it,
Right.
probably if I like think about it too much. But also like that's why I think the like barrier of time being broken so that the present and the past can momentarily interact
Yeah.
is kind of like, isn't that time travel? But it's not the classic trope of time travel where you get into a time machine and then you are in the time and then you get to walk around and be like, oh, I'm in the 20s now. You know, it's like I feel like it's more like, yeah, it's whatever this moment is and whatever happened before it are somehow able
Yeah.
to communicate. And I think it does
Yes.
have to do with location because you never hear of a ghost like in France being like, hey, and you're like, I'm not even there, but I mean, if you're hearing ghosts
Right.
from France, you should probably check yourself into
Sure.
somewhere and,
Speak to somebody.
yeah, speak to
There are
somebody about that.
resources
There
out
are
there.
for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. So, because it's always like, oh, the ghost is here. And also, sorry, one more thing about the whole despair thing is that, like, when
Yeah.
people are like, oh, I feel the chill, it's all of a sudden cold. And then a lot of people say that they experience this, like, intense feeling of hopelessness and dread and whatever. And the
Right.
reason I think it's that emotion is the most powerful and the one that somehow breaks this time barrier is because I feel like you don't you don't really hear of a lot of people saying like, "Oh, I feel intense anger all of a sudden," or "I feel intense joy all of a sudden." Like, you don't really hear of all any other emotions. You hear of only this, and I feel like so many of the historical things that, like, oh, the queen died here because blah blah blah, she was held hostage or something and wasn't allowed to leave. It's like that is that it's never like a it's always a moment of like despair and
Yes.
unfairness and just this feeling of such intense like like yeah, despair is I guess the
Deep
only word that
sorrow.
comes to mind. Yeah, sorrow. Yes,
Deep
sorrow.
sorrow. Yeah.
And
Sorrow
it's
is good.
weird. Why is it always
Yeah.
that?
It's I completely hear what you're saying. I do think the intense I don't think that like the other emotions are entirely unheard
For
of
sure.
in terms of like anger, but I do think that you're absolutely right that like deep sorrow, deep like fear and pain and panic seem to be and like chills like haunt like I get what you're saying, like those seem to be like hypothetically if our emotions can scar an area, it seems
Sure,
like
right.
those are the
Yes,
ones that are
yes,
the most
exactly
likely to
that.
do it.
That's a
Yeah.
great way to put it. Like
It's
emotions are scarring the area and somehow recording
it,
like you can almost see where the person was. And then I wonder if a lot of people are like, "Oh, I feel a ghost pass through me. It's cold or whatever." And it's like, what if that is really the feeling of someone walking exactly where you were standing,
Yeah.
and you can feel that weird, like, I don't know. And again, with the whole existential conversation that we were having about the universe living a billion lifetimes, experiencing itself over and over again, it's like,
Yeah.
because I agree with that. I think that that's the most prominent theory that makes sense. And it's like, then time doesn't really matter in that
Yeah.
scenario.
Well, I see it as like time is an illusion that's created specific, like it's an illusion, just that, like a byproduct of the nature of this experience.
Hmm.
Like I see Sean Parker, me, as like this avatar for the universe, like one of endless avatars for the universe to experience itself. I want to stress this is not like a belief system that I have. This is just the idea that makes the most sense
For
to
sure.
me. Like certain God concepts just don't make sense, and like to me. But I kind of see it as like time only exists in the sense that it's for this story, this narrative, this avatar. It's something that we experience, but it's an illusion that we experience. And I think that, like, again, I kind of think that I really love that Edgar Allan Poe quote, like, all that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. Like, I kind of just think that
Mm.
we're all the universe dreaming itself from endless perspectives. And I see like a physical space like that. I would almost see physical space being an illusion too, but that's where I'm going to get too weird if I lean too hard into that. But the point is, I almost see it as like hypothetically, if you're in a space, it's instead of time being like a linear thing, it's like it's all stacked on top of each other
Yes,
in
yes,
different frequencies that you
right.
could turn into. And
Yeah, the
for
whole time
this,
is a flat
it,
circle.
yes, circle, flat circle. Yes, 100%. And so the same way that you can be like driving and you're listening to one radio station and all of a sudden you hear another radio station start to buzz in for a second
Yeah,
and then it's gone. And I see it like that. Like
yeah.
that's the best metaphor I can think to describe it. I have another quick
Yes,
story
please.
that's kind of related to this if you want to hear it.
Yes,
So
always.
um, it's kind of two, but I'm going to fuse them together. But basically, at my mom's old house, we were there for probably like 6 years, 7 years. And the people that lived there before, we heard that there was just like a lot of drama. I think somebody, I don't want to like I think someone might have even ended up like committing suicide there, but there were a lot of fights. I know it
Mhm.
was like an aggressive household for the people that lived there before. I want to stress, I never felt like this place was haunted. I never felt like somebody was watching me, anything like that. But on two different occasions that I can remember very specifically, there might have been more. There might have been things I didn't experience, obviously, but I saw things move aggressively, like get thrown across the room. One night,
Ooh.
me and my brother Alan are laying on the couches. This was like shortly after we moved in. We still didn't have beds downstairs because me and my brothers only stayed there on the weekends. Uh, so me and my brother are sleeping on the couch, and my other brother is like sleeping on the floor in the living room because we want to watch the TV. And we have this big like cabinet on the other side of the room, and one of my sister's dolls was on that cabinet, like a Barbie. Me and Alan are awake on the couch. It's the middle of the night. My brother that's on the floor is asleep, and swear to God, this Barbie went flying and hit my brother in the head. Funny thing is, it didn't wake him up, but like it didn't fall
What?
off the cabinet.
Your
Yeah,
brother is a
it
very
didn't.
deep sleeper,
I,
and I'm a
I
deep
think it
sleeper.
like
So
I don't think it perfectly hit him in the head, but it definitely hit him to where he like,
oh,
and like
interesting.
moved.
Okay.
But he didn't fully wake up. But me and my brother Alan were just like, what? It literally looked like someone smacked it off of the cabinet that it was on, and it went flying fast.
That's so
And then it was
crazy.
over, and that's all that happened. And another time I saw, essentially, I won't tell the full story, but I saw the same thing happen with a phone years later. And in
Like
my
a cell
head,
phone?
yeah, like
Uh-huh.
a cell phone that was plugged into
A charger?
like the wall, yeah, like connected to a charger, and it was sitting on the coffee table. And again, it's the middle of the night, people are asleep, and it just went flying off the table. I don't remember if it was my
Did
phone
it
or my ex's
disconnect?
phone. Yes, it
Obviously,
got
yeah.
smacked off the charger. Yeah, I can't
That's
stress enough that
crazy.
it didn't fall off and just land on the
Yeah.
floor. Like it got
Yeeted.
pushed.
Literally
Yes. And
chucked.
it's interesting because you tell a story like that and people jump to ghost, and this is kind of what I was talking about with
Yeah.
earlier. Like I don't think that the house is haunted. I think if anything, it it may be just like the violent chaotic energy from the
Yes.
place before. Maybe they threw stuff when they were angry and
Totally.
it just builds up and snaps like a rubber band or something.
Ooh. I like
Yeah,
that
and
theory. I was
it's
gonna say because I'm like, okay, it's almost like residual energy or
yeah,
velocity
right.
from that. It's almost like, I mean, it makes sense as to why, like, it's almost like reality glitching. Not reality. It's almost like
Well,
our times, all the different times that are stacked on top of each other. There's like a weird glitch that allows, like, whereas usually it's parallel, or that's how we experience it at least. It's like,
sure.
okay, this is my reality and my current time, and nothing's moving. But then all of a sudden, there's a weird glitch where, like, I wonder if an object being thrown at that same time, even though it's not the same object, it latches onto the closest object there is, which in that case was a Barbie and a phone, and
Yes.
kind of throws it in that velocity is applied to like a new object. So it's not like
A
the
hundred
the people that were living there threw a Barbie or that Barbie. It was like the people out there threw something, and that energy of like the throwing is what glitched into your
a hundred
timeline. It's
percent.
weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a glitch is like a perfect way to put it,
Yeah.
and it basically just kind of to go back to my belief system. I just essentially I think that everything, not belief system, my idea
Yeah.
is what I like to call it because I,
You're
but
starting a church? Oh, Sean,
it's
I
not.
can't wait to join your belief system.
You can apply at no,
Love it.
but basically just that I think every person, every space, every not just like every living thing, non-living thing, like all of everything is just more connected than we like to think
Yes,
or that we feel
totally.
is kind of my
Yeah.
ideology. And yeah, I think that energy like that could maybe build up. All that I know is that the house never felt haunted to me. I never heard voices. I never saw anything. You know, I had just two incidences that didn't make sense to me where I saw things I clear as day saw things move
Right.
when they shouldn't have moved. And my best guess is kind of this. But that feeds
Cool.
into I'll keep it short. But the like a lot of people think that poltergeist activity isn't spirits either,
Right.
where it's
That's more like
like there's
negative. Maybe the anger
negative
part.
energy.
What you were saying,
Right,
the
it's
anger.
100%. And sometimes it's not even about someone from before or from a different time. Like there's a lot of people there are there are classes of thought, groups of thought, I don't know. There are ideas out there that like a child that is struggling dealing with their emotions that happens to be just like an energetically connected kid, like a special kid,
Hmm.
could get really upset and get really confused, and all of a sudden poltergeist activity starts happening in the house and everyone jumps to ghosts when really it's the kid manifesting
Yeah. Yeah,
just things
yeah.
happening.
That makes
That's a
sense.
whole yeah, oh yeah, there's I can even point you to a movie that's about
I
that
think it's
if you
almost
want.
always like one of the people is the target of this stuff, and then sometimes it's either the people around them also experience like the Amityville horror situation, or it's like
Sure.
no one has experienced it and it's even harder to believe or whatever. But yeah, I
Yeah.
wonder if it's like it's I agree with what you're saying. I feel like, but I do also believe when they feel like it's being done to them and they don't
Hmm.
know how to control it, because it's like, obviously, right, if we even knew what was going on, we'd be able to kind of, it's like when the power turns off accidentally, to go to the whatever circuit breaker and turn it back on. But
Yeah.
it's like, so even if the kid or the person, whatever, is manifesting this, it's unknowingly and it's not intentional. And it's also like that doesn't diminish the fact that the fear they feel of being targeted by this energy is very real.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I think that like hypothetically, I think that a poltergeist activity could be either or. I think it could be something external that has nothing to do with the people are just experiencing, or it could be something that someone is producing,
Hmm.
but it's always unknowingly. It's like
Right.
a like an energy tick, you
Yes.
know, like it's just something that's like explosive coming
Right.
out of
Because if
them,
people
and
are like,
they're
well, if it's them, why don't they just stop? And it's like,
right. It's
that's like when
no,
you're like
it's
super worried. It's just like, have you
right.
tried not worrying? And it's like,
Yeah,
oh, duh. I didn't think of that.
of course.
You can't
Yeah,
just
and I'm
turn
not
it
talking
off.
because if it was them controlling it, then it wouldn't be poltergeist activity. At that point, we'd be talking about Carrie White. You know, it
Right.
would be telekinesis. Like
Exactly.
it
Exactly.
would be, and that would be
In and of
more
itself.
impressive,
Right.
frankly. Like that
Sure.
would be if you could control it, that would be a lot more.
Ugh, Matilda.
Um,
I want to be Matilda so bad. I just want to.
dude,
There were so many
You're
times where I'm
speaking to
like, I
my
just
soul.
want the remote and it's over there and I don't want to get up
Yes.
and get it.
Oh,
Or if I
I
want to put
want the
stuff
full.
away, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I want that. I want that whole like
Yes,
ooh
yes,
ooh
yes.
ooh.
I
I want
want
that whole
that. I want
scene.
to
I
make
want to do
pancakes
little
while just
bitty
going like
pretty
this, and
woman.
I want to
Yeah,
organize everything. I want to take all the dishes out of the dishwasher, put them all back, put the dirty ones, do my laundry like that. Oh my God, it would just be so
yeah,
nice. I would love
dude.
that.
Dream scenario.
Yes.
That's it. I love, dude. I love me some Matilda. I love 11. I love Carrie White. Like the ability to have telekinesis and to move stuff with my mind. I've spent a lot of time trying to do it. Is what
Yes.
I'll
No,
say.
me
I've
too. I'm
I've
like, maybe if
spent
I can just tap
hours,
into it. Yeah, yeah.
dude, just staring at an object, like
I always
just trying
wonder,
to get
like,
it to
what
move.
would I do if it did move? And then,
Panic.
yeah, right? Or
Just
I'd be like,
immediately
did you
throw
see
up.
that? Yeah, just and then run to the news and be like, I am psychic. I know I sound crazy, but
Yes.
I am. Ready, watch. And then you try to do it and you can't do it. Oh
Can't. Just
no.
sweating, just
Oh
veins popping.
no. Literally.
Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's really quick. How are you? I don't know how long. How are you doing on time? Where do you want to?
Oh, we're at 35. I was thinking we could go for like an hour if you want.
Okay, perfect,
Yeah.
perfect. I just didn't want to. I didn't want to.
Thank you.
So
No, that's fair.
I
I should have
I
mentioned
have
that in the
another.
beginning. I was thinking these episodes could be about an hour. So if I see that
Yeah,
we're over an hour, that's when I would probably try to wrap it up. But we got time. We
gotcha.
got plenty of time. We're at 35
Okay.
minutes.
Well, then can bringing up something else
Yes.
kind of
Yes.
related that I think you should do an episode on.
Yes.
That maybe. Yeah, you should do an episode on it. But have you ever heard of a tulpa?
No.
Okay.
How do you spell
So
that? A?
T
Tulpa?
no, TULPA.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like I think like the concept originates from like Tibetan like Buddhism,
Cool.
but it's highly entertained, and this is where I kind of go like everything's connected.
Yeah.
But so the concept of a tulpa simplified is basically an entity or an object that exists by like concentrated thought, knowingly or unknowingly. So
Mm.
hypothetically, have you ever seen Don't Look Under the Bed?
No, I don't think so.
No,
I
really?
know. I know. I haven't seen a lot of movies. You're.
Okay.
It was because of you that I watched Pan's Labyrinth, which was fantastic, but I hadn't
Yes.
seen it before then. So yeah, I haven't even seen The
On
Shining.
completely subconscious. You should watch
I
The
know.
Shining. Completely. And actually, in terms of like the energy scarring a place, you need to see The Shining,
Okay.
and you need to read it. Yeah,
Ooh.
that's. It's
Okay.
not just. It's not like a haunted house. It's so complicated. Either way, I'm
Okay.
wearing my Pan's Labyrinth shirt right now, and I didn't do that on purpose, and that's just a weird
Oh,
coincidence.
crazy. I love that.
Synchronicities.
Love.
So a tulpa. Actually, sorry to go back. Don't Look Under the Bed.
Yeah.
Is a Disney Channel movie,
Oh, I love
and
it already.
to summarize the concept for you, it is about a teenage girl who has a sick little brother, and all of a sudden bad things start happening around her that she's getting blamed for. Like things are happening and it's like pranks and stuff, and she's not the one doing them, but it looks like to the town,
Right.
to her school, to her parents, like she's the one doing them, and she can't figure out what it is, and she is suddenly contacted by her brother's imaginary friend, and he can't see his imaginary friend anymore. No one else can see the imaginary friend, but she sees this imaginary person that essentially has powers. And
And that's the one that's doing it.
no, so that what's doing it is the boogeyman. And I'm gonna
Third
have to like, all
character.
right,
Okay.
yeah. So the bad guy is the boogeyman, and
Okay.
he's the one that's kind of doing stuff, and he's trying to get the little boy. And it is the little boy's imaginary friend that's coming to save him. And this is I have to
Oh,
spoil it because in order
I love this.
to make this make sense, I hate that I have to spoil it kind of, but I have to use it for this
Yes.
concept. But basically, actually, I don't need to spoil it. I don't need to tell you the plot of the movie to explain that. What we find out is that essentially an imaginary friend like that would actually exist and be able to like interact with the physical world. That's a tulpa. It's
Ooh.
the idea that like
You
your
can
brain,
manifest literally something into
yes,
being?
yes, either purposefully or not purposefully, and that children would have the
Interesting.
ability to do it more. And so there's
Huh.
like an individual like tulpa, like someone being like hypothetically, let's say someone does a ritual and they're trying to summon a demon, and then they summon a demon, and they think that they summoned a demon from hell, like an entity that
Right.
exists outside of whatever, but actually they made it,
Right, right, right.
you
It's like
know?
what they
But
think the
they,
demon would be.
yes, yes. There are
Interesting. Oh, I like
schools
that.
of thought. There are schools of thought that think that religious figures that we saw in the past, gods, monsters, UFOs. Like there are schools of thought that basically think that us as a collective society are manifesting things
Mm.
that are real. Like it's not that we're all having a
Right.
collective
Psychosis.
hallucination.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there are that by us having some of the beliefs that
Mhm.
we do and some of the focus that we do and intentions that we do, that we're creating something that is then showing itself to us in a way that makes sense.
And
Um,
taking on
and
the like characteristics that we give it,
yeah, it not
subconsciously or
even not
consciously.
intentionally.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and that's why there's certain incidents where people, like a whole city talks about seeing a UFO, and everyone's description of it are
Oh, I
really
see what you
similar, but they're
mean.
not entirely the same.
Yeah.
And like I'm kind of like ancient astronaut.
Yeah.
Like I think that there is something. Um,
You think aliens have been on Earth and have known about Earth and have been interacting with us for billions of years and just haven't made themselves known?
yes,
Okay.
but it's not just like when you say aliens, I think you think of like another physical biological species on another planet that travels in ships here. I'm open to that idea. That's what I used to be the most open to, but now I'm leaning much more into something that is just a bigger piece of the universe than we are. Like
Hmm.
some things that are a bigger piece of the universe than we are kind of coming into our world. But I do
Hmm.
think that there is
Do
something.
they take on a human appearance or no?
I think that they maybe they can. I think I almost lean more into like that's tech that they've made. It's so weird.
Yeah, no.
Uh
It's interesting.
it
I think that there are absolutely, I think if there are aliens, they are more
mm.
advanced. I don't think the
Oh,
human
well they have to
race is
be.
very smart.
No.
I
No.
think we have stalled. I don't know if you saw this, but like a friend of mine, and I'm gonna get into my whole soapbox thing about it, but like
Mhm.
my friend sent me this video that basically said that the patriarchy has effectively stalled our ability to evolve as humans because evolution is supposed to be, nature, survival of the fittest, right? Who's most fit, I guess, to fit with whatever situation they're in, and sexual selection. So natural selection and sexual selection. Sexual selection being by females, typically are the ones that
Sure.
are, they are choosing a mate because they find qualities in them that they like. And it's not necessarily
Yeah.
even to the extent of like, oh, I want to make a child with this person. It's more like, no, you make me feel safe and whole and happy, and you're not violent and you're not whatever. Things that are admirable traits that would make someone want to be with that person. And the patriarchy essentially took that away and then decided to like give every man a woman and just objectify women quite literally to as like something that fathers could give away to other men for in exchange for like land or whatever the fuck. So I feel like it's like that our ability to where we would have probably evolved past these really primitive characteristics like violence. The two biggest ones in this video that my friend sent me were violence and unintelligence. And I don't mean unintelligence necessarily with respect to like IQ. I mean
Mhm.
unintelligence with like you it's like ignorance, arrogance, I think is a better
Sure.
way to do it. Cause it's like, it's unintelligence willfully. It's like you think you're the smartest person in the room and do not want to learn more. And you're not open to educating yourself anymore. And it's like,
Yeah.
I don't think that's a quality anybody wants in a partner. I can only speak for myself, but like typically, so I feel like it's like, had we just there's a theory that we would have been far more advanced along, like when we think of the word of the year 2030, which is in 5 fucking years, by the way. What the fuck are you talking about? 5 fucking years. 2030? If you went to like 2011 me, I graduated
Disgusting.
high school in 2011. If you went to me
Yeah.
and said the year 2030 is real, I'd be like, fat chance. That's actually not correct. That doesn't exist because what are you talking about 2030? Or I would think
Yeah.
2030 is flying cars. 2030 is
Right.
like cities in the sky. 2030 is this crazy, unimaginable kind of evolved, progressed society, like so far beyond where we are now that it's almost unrecognizable. And it's not that at all. And I feel like it's just been proven and shown time and time again. I, Basically, the video says that the male loneliness epidemic that's happening, or pandemic, whatever the
Ugh.
fuck, is
Yeah.
evolution finally working again because females are being given their autonomy to choose their partners. And so
Sure.
basically, the traits that are undesirable, like the two biggest ones, violence and arrogance, are dying out.
Yeah, I think that all of that makes sense.
Right?
There's, I mean, I think that we're a flawed species in general, regardless of like sex and gender. But I don't pretend that like the patriarchy is absolutely real, and I completely agree that that we have probably held back a lot of things.
But then it's
It's
like,
also
are
the
aliens a more evolved version of us?
I'm
As a
open
human
to that.
race, as a human race, not us, not
Sure,
not like me and you versions that are
right,
evolved. It's
right,
like
right.
of humans. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm open to that. I think I lean more into like again to kind of seeing the universe as like one thing
Yeah.
experiencing itself. I kind of think like I don't even love using the word alien anymore. I use um just like interdimensional being, just something else, another entity, something else, whatever it is, whatever other intelligent non-human intelligence it
Hmm.
is that's here. I think it's more like keeping us in check, or it's like the universe's way of like like a natural whatever in regards to our evolution. I think
Mm.
that like we're reaching a spot right now where technologically we are, as technology advances, we can use that technology to advance technology further, and we're at a point where it's skyrocketing. Like the rate at which technology advances right now is drastically faster than it's ever been in human history. It's, if you think of like a graph, what are
Right.
those called, like slope, yeah, but the it's sloping up
Yes.
into like a direct up, to where our species, both just like our societal structures, like our infrastructure, but also our emotional intelligence, can't keep up with it. Like we're
Hmm.
becoming,
Yeah.
we're having technology and power that we're not ready
Yeah.
for yet because of stunted things that we've done as a society. Largely, our systems put in place, like
For
patriarchy, but
sure.
all sorts of
For
things.
sure. For sure.
Uh, and yeah, that are holding us back. And part of me wonders if like part of the reason that we're seeing more stuff than we've ever seen before is because we're reaching this precipice, we're reaching this like horizon that we're not ready to cross,
Yeah.
and they're going to have to slow us down. I kind of think that we're
No,
like,
honestly, and I'm very much of the in the camp of like take the reins because clearly whatever the fuck's going on isn't working, and so I
yeah,
feel like if I were to if a an another dimensional being interdimensional
yeah,
what were you what do you call them?
interdimensional. It's I just say I, because I'm not like dead set on that, I
Yeah,
just use non-human
non-human
intelligence.
intelligence.
But
Yeah,
but
so
I'm open to interdimensional.
right,
Yeah,
right. So the non-human intelligence, if they were
yeah.
saying to me like, I mean, I just feel like it's almost like what we call fate, right? When we're like, oh wow, like I don't know, there's a lot of billionaires dying lately. Love that, but it's like, is that fate? Is that the non-human intelligence somehow stepping in, or there's weird near misses, or there's times where it's like I feel like the world corrects. Like okay, for example, when an abandoned building, you know how like in The Last of Us, John watches Last of Us. I don't, but I'll randomly see episodes. I really need to. But there was this one.
I've played both games and watched all
There
of
you
it.
go.
I'm here.
Okay. You're like,
I'm in.
who do you think you're talking to?
Yeah,
No,
what do
that's
you
fair.
get on it?
I know, I know. I really need to. I've watched a couple of episodes though with John, and I definitely saw the Nick
Mm,
Offerman one and sobbed, and that was a great episode to really come in on because it was a standalone
yeah,
episode. It had nothing to do with
sure.
anything else, and it was fantastic. But
Yeah.
there was one episode that I saw where Ellie and her girlfriend or crush are walking through this basically like a building that's been taken over that's been taken over by the forest like
Oh,
it's this old
sure. Yeah.
encampment. I don't know if it's Atlanta or something. It's Seattle. I think it was Seattle.
Seattle. Yes, they're in Seattle.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're in Seattle, and like you know when she's like playing the guitar or whatever, and basically when you go inside, there's just like this, like there's foliage every, which is why I fucking love this thing. It makes me so
Yeah.
happy, but it kind of
I
looks
love it.
like the earth or the nature reclaiming a space, and I
Yeah.
feel like that is a perfect example of a non-human intelligence kind of
Sure.
allowing nature to reclaim what is rightfully theirs.
Yes.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
It no 100%. Well, I mean, we are, regardless of what anyone believes, we are a biological species existing on this planet. We talk about like killing the world, destroying the world. Like, we can't do that.
Yeah.
We can kill our ecosystem. We can kill a lot of other species and environments temporarily, but we can't destroy this place no matter what. Even if we had full out all nuclear war, like, life will not be completely destroyed
Yeah.
in that process, and
I don't
will,
think it's up to
after.
us. Yeah.
No, it'll 100%. We're one experiment. We're one idea that Earth is having, and we get to decide if we're a good idea or not. Like, that's ultimately what it is. So yeah, I get what you're saying, and in terms of, like, the higher intelligence thing, I see it as like I think that there's something that's watching us
Like a
that
Truman
is
Show
kind of, well,
situation.
not just like out of the sense of entertainment, but I see like Earth is one giant terrarium,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
whether it's a
That's what I mean.
biological species from another planet, because think about it, like, my co-host of my show, Steve, is always like when I talk about alien stuff, he's like, why would they care? They wouldn't care. And I'm like, yes, they would. Like, what do you mean? It's, even if it's not care in, like, an emotional sense,
Intrigued.
like, think about us. Yeah,
Yeah. Why do we have
study,
reality shows?
well, but also, reality shows aside, we study every
Yes.
ecosystem,
True.
species, whatever on this planet. We directly, like, monitor them. If we found life on another
Yeah.
planet and it was just like bacteria or fungus,
Yeah,
we are going to have
true.
eyes on it forever.
Yes.
Like, what do
Good
you mean? Why
point.
would they
Good
care?
point.
And so I'm open to the idea that there is something, whether it be another species on another planet or a higher type of being from a higher dimension, that you could almost apply the words like angel to if you wanted,
Yes,
but
like
it's
guardian.
not.
Yeah, like a
Yeah,
guardian or I like
it,
that idea. I really like that
but
idea.
it might not even be, it's guardian is like the, I like that, it, like, there's a pleasantness
Yeah,
there, but
but
also,
also
like, what if we're just like an ant farm? What
yeah,
if we're a terrarium? What if they're, this whole terrarium is what they're interested
totally.
in, and it's not like they actively care more about the human species? That's just the fungus that is
Right,
growing
right,
the
right,
most right
right.
now. But if that fungus becomes dangerous to the whole terrarium, maybe they get rid of us. Maybe they start the experiment over. Like, what if they wipe it clean and
Uh,
start over?
but then in the
But
theory of the
mhm.
universe experiencing itself, where does the non-human intelligence fit in? Do you think it's not
it
part of that central
well,
consciousness? Is it a part?
so
A
when I say,
part
like,
or
the,
a part?
no,
You know what I mean?
I think it's all one thing. I would think that it's more
Mm,
like if you went to a God concept, if you went more like Christian with it, you have the collective everything, which would be God, which would be all of us. We're not children of it in my
yeah,
head. We're not children of it. We're a part of
right,
it,
same.
but we experience, like, we don't get, we're, if God is the prism, we're the red hue that's being put on the wall when the light passes through it. Like, I don't know if that's making sense. But basically, like, I would see it as like, imagine a big glass sphere. I'm so sorry.
No,
This is when I get so
get
abstract that
in
I'm like,
there
how do I articulate my thoughts?
for sure.
Imagine a big glass sphere
Yes.
that is, on one side, it's shattering into a million tiny pieces,
Mhm.
and then those pieces fly to the other side, and it's simultaneously breaking apart and putting itself together forever. I just think that some
Yeah.
pieces are bigger than others. Some pieces have different
Hmm.
roles. Our job
Mm.
is to experience, but maybe there's pieces of the universe that are made to, like, keep our experience in a certain line. I don't know.
Let me no, and I totally agree. I think what you're saying makes perfect sense because it's like there's
Okay.
some pieces that are bigger than the smaller pieces. It's like it's observable. It's the ant farm situation. We can
Yeah.
observe smaller things just like and it can just go on like that forever.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is like the whole idea of a sphere because for some reason our brains and I wrestle with this because I feel
Hmm.
like our brains can only really we need finite outlines for things. But it's like what if there is it's the whole idea of like the universe is ever expanding and there is no end
Sure.
to it.
Yeah.
It's like because I'm always wondering like, oh, well, where does it end? When does it end? And it's like it doesn't.
It
There
doesn't.
isn't an end. There is just
No.
change. That is what we can
Yeah.
observe at the smallest molecule level. Matter cannot be created nor destroyed. It is just it's just changing forever into different things,
100%.
which is
That's
wild. But just like the idea
li-
of never ending it doesn't compute.
No, it's beyond, because it's beyond what we're supposed to be thinking about.
Exactly.
Like it's beyond our comprehension.
Right.
It's I was raised non-denominational Christian, so not like a strict Catholic whatever, but I was raised like there's God and he created the world and whatever. And then you get to school and you learn about things like the Big Bang,
Right.
and in my head I was just always asking questions about everything. And basically where I'm at now, all you can do is speak in metaphors, because I think like the nature of existence is so beyond our
100%.
comprehension that,
100%.
you know,
We
and
need to
especially,
tether it back to something we
yes,
understand.
yes, so I never have a perfect
For sure.
metaphor that describes all of it. I can just like list a bunch of them, but I think of like God, the universe, all of everything is like existing in a singularity, having no purpose, no reason, just deciding to suddenly exist in a million more limited ways so that it has purpose and reason and experience. And so I
Oh.
kind of see that as like being what the Big Bang almost is.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
that. I really
and I
like
think
that idea.
it's just the only thing that kind of makes sense to me. And I
Yeah.
think it goes way beyond what we see in like physical space. Like I
Yes.
think that the universe and the endless galaxies in it are, even that is just a tiny piece of what's
Totally.
actually going on.
Right.
And I think it's just,
And it's
yeah. And
almost
so
like it's almost these
yeah.
two paths that I feel like we can take, or this is how I feel at least.
Hmm.
You can either let the minutia, or not minutia. I just wanted to say the word minutia, to be honest. I don't even know if it makes sense in this context at all. But no, I feel like we could either take the existential kind of dread that it gives us to
Sure.
realize, like, we don't matter. Like, I don't matter. It's that existential dread. I kind of, offline, we were talking about how I felt that when I was in like high school and tried weed for the first time,
Yeah.
or got really high off the bong rip. I was like, oh my God, I'm not, like, I
Yeah.
don't matter. I'm not the main character. I am in my head, but I'm not.
Yep.
Also, I feel like part of that was my brain developing more empathy, and then the more empathy you
Sure.
develop, the more you lose yourself. But that's ego death, whatever. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, and I feel like it's like all I know is me, but then there's that feeling of like, oh, nothing matters, I don't matter, and that could either drive you down this one road of like, oh my God, I have no purpose and I'm lost entirely, which I think a lot is happens for so many of us.
Yeah.
Um, or I think the more recent kind of path that I've found myself taking is to be like, to have that be the freedom that you've been looking for forever, which is, it doesn't matter. The thing that you think, oh
Yes.
my God, I got drunk last night. I said that really stupid thing. And everyone's probably thinking about, no, they're fucking not. They're thinking about themselves, first of all, and what they were
Right.
doing, what they were wearing, and what they might have said that was silly. But at the end of the day, it's like, it doesn't matter. So fucking just have fun with it.
100%.
If it doesn't
Yeah.
matter, there's no expectation. There's no like, I need to make my mark on the world. I need to be
Sure.
as as heroic as Aristotle. I need to be so prominent that people speak my name for generations to come. And that's also why people grapple with the whole idea of mortality. Oh, I'm gonna die, and then it's gonna be as if I never existed, because who cares? I made almost little to no impact. And it's like, that's not. What if you just live to try to make every day as great as you can make it, and surround yourself with things you like, and within, like, obviously stupid confines of our society, well, like money and job and whatever the
Sure.
fuck, which is also the annoying thing of like, that's what I'm currently wrestling with, is my hatred for corporate America,
Yeah.
and just the idea that it goes against everything that I want my life to be. And that's not to say
Yep.
like I don't want to go skydiving, to be honest. Like, I'm not. That doesn't bring me joy. I get it, for some people it might, and that's exhilarating, especially people that want to chase adrenaline. That's great. I think it shows up in different ways for different people, and that's why I love the anime Free Run. I'm sorry, this is all over the place, but Free
You're
Run,
good, dude. I'm following.
Free
I'm
Run
here. I
is,
haven't seen the show
you
though,
have to
but
please watch Free Run. It's on Netflix. When I tell you, I feel like I'm gonna cry. When I tell you, it fundamentally changed the way I think. It fundamentally
okay.
changed the way my brain works. Like, truly. It was
I
a
get that.
life-changing anime,
Yeah.
and it, mainly because it starts off very, very slow, so stick with it, because it'll all make sense kind of later on. And then there are some
Sure.
really awesome, like, OP as fuck scenes, which is incredible and so worth it. But there are so many more moments. It's so much more about the mundane, everyday kind of stuff. Oh my God. I
Yeah.
literally watched this video yesterday that was talking about it. because my tism makes me want to like hyperfixate on shit. And right now that's free run. And so I just want to watch every single video there is out there about it right now. And this person was basically saying how it like Freerun is this like 1,000-year-old elf basically who experiences time very differently than a human would whose lifespan is about 100. So to her, there could be hundreds of years in between, and she doesn't really change in appearance or
Right.
anything. And she also struggled with the idea to like care about anyone if they're going to be gone so soon. And
Sure.
it's about
Yeah.
her kind of rationalizing that yes, it does matter, even though they will just be a memory. That memory of them is what is going to kind of make the time worth it. So it's like, she wants to just disassociate from it all because it's like, what's the point if they're literally just going to die and then I'm just going to live on for another unexplainable amount of years. So to her, she obviously, her lifespan is so big that she doesn't change. And in the video, the guy was saying that's very much how we feel when we wake up in the morning and look at ourselves. We don't see a person that's that different from the day before, right? Or even a
Right.
couple of days before. But there are pictures that we can look back on to see how drastically we've changed over a more zoomed out period of time. And it's the idea of like enjoying the little moments, and the culmination of these little moments is what I'm literally gonna cry. I don't know why.
No, dude,
Literally, it's
I
like the
get it.
culmination of the. I'm getting choked up. I need to stop talking about it. Literally.
I really do understand. I am very curious to watch this show, especially with how moved you are.
It's so
Um,
good. It's so good.
it's I agree. I think that again, the f- the fact that we exist is crazy, and all that you really know is that you exist. And regardless of like, we can sit here and like philosophicize. Is that a word?
Yeah,
Is that you know
philosophize.
what I mean? Yeah,
Philosophize. That sounds like a good word.
philosophize. Yeah, philosophize. That sounds better.
I might
We
be
could sit
totally wrong.
here and do that, and ultimately, the actual details of the nature of existence and what the rules are only matter so much. I just support belief systems that basically the heart of them is what you're talking about, which unfortunately a lot of them are not.
Yeah,
A lot of them are, in my opinion, really toxic, like
100%.
human made
100%.
interpretations that are more about power structures and controlling what other people feel and
Yeah,
believe.
like, oh, when the
Um,
rapture happens, you're going to go to hell. And I feel
yeah,
bad for
it's,
you. And I feel as if I need to prophesize to you and evangelize you to
it,
try to get you
yeah,
on my side. But at the end of the day, I'm sorry if you're going to hell. And I'm going to be swept up by Sky Daddy because I was chosen. I
yeah,
was picked. It's like living
it's,
your entire life
yes,
as a pick me
100%. And
for
also,
a God
I
that
think
doesn't exist.
it's tragic though,
Yeah, it's so
even for
tragic.
the
Oh my God.
believers in my
Yes.
head, because what it is like
An
ideologies
entrapment.
like that. Yeah, the whole point is to sacrifice
Yes.
yourself for something else. Like,
Yes.
this world doesn't matter, this life doesn't
Yeah.
matter, my understanding doesn't matter. I'm supposed to just submit to this ideology, and it doesn't. I just don't. I think if God is real, that it's nothing like
Yeah.
what anyone else thinks, and I
If
just think
God
that,
is real, or the singularity like we believe and talked about, if
yeah,
that's real, what they want, the reason they're living 1,000 lifetimes is to experience all the good little things.
yeah,
So why
it's
not
about
fill
what.
your life with as many good little things as possible?
Yes, it's about experience. I literally think of like another metaphor. I think our existence is like God doing shadow work. Like, we're the
Ooh,
good and the bad. Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
we're all of
Always.
it,
There
and
is
we're
no good
just
without bad.
right. And that goes kind of to what you were talking about. This character living. Like, super long, and therefore getting less joy out of certain things, like caring about people less, whatever, because limitation inherently creates value.
Right.
And
Yes.
whether that be in
Yes.
material, or like material goods, like a collector, an object, a collector's
Yeah.
item is worth more if there's less of it,
Yes.
but also experience. Like, and we talked when you were on my show, we were talking about creativity, how like putting limitations on a creative project is way more uh, fueling to the creative process
Yeah.
than just like sitting down with a blank canvas and all the art materials in the world. Like, you limitation creates the ability for like real joy. It's all
Yeah.
about perspective.
Totally.
So yeah, and I kind of, that's what makes my idea make sense to me, that like we exist because when God God, I use that word just for
Sure.
this, but like when whatever it is, God was one thing, just one collective thing. It had no reason to be. It was all, and it was perfect, and it just was. And then it needed purpose. You
Yeah.
can't feel joy or have experience without
Have you?
things like death and
Yes.
limited time. And yeah,
Have you seen The Good Place?
I've watched the first episode,
Oh,
but
Sean,
that's another
Sean,
one,
Sean,
dude.
Sean, Sean.
Can I just say that it's so funny how when I end up in these kinds of conversations with people, there are certain shows and books and people that are always like, dude, you should listen to this.
Yeah.
And like everyone throws like the same.
Yes.
Yeah,
And so
I
Frieden
want
is
to
just
watch
my
it.
main, like, that's what I'm on right now. But I would say The Good Place probably changed my, I wouldn't say necessarily changed. I would say
Yeah,
reinforced what I
yeah,
already kind of was leaning toward,
yeah.
which is, and I'll kind of spoil it, the
I know
ending.
some
But
things.
yeah, but there's
I mean,
basically at the end, they get the heaven where everyone's happy, and like imagine a heaven where everyone gets to live happily ever
hmm,
after forever. And
right.
then it's like, and you do all the things you want. You want ice cream right now, it's right there, and you want to do this, and you got it. And then it's like, okay, I'm done. These things don't bring me joy anymore, because where's that, like, the knowing there's an, so basically in the show they ask for a portal, i.e. the death of that consciousness that is themselves to happen, so that, because they're just like, I've done it all.
Yeah,
I
it's
do wish we could stop time or manipulate time in a better way to feel like all of us can get to the end of our lives or consciousnesses
mhm.
and feel like we've done as much as we've wanted to. I would like the option to control that. But again, maybe if it was, up to us, we wouldn't be able to set limits, or correct limits. But yeah, sorry, what were you going to say about the whole, like,
it.
end? There needs to be an
Well,
end.
just talking about the good place and that kind of concept, and everything you were just saying about like you've accomplished everything, the joy of it's gone because there's no like
Yeah.
we, at least for our species, like there's a joy in like overcoming
Yes.
obstacles.
Yeah.
That's how we understand things. I'm a big Twilight Zone fan, and there's a Twilight Zone episode called A Nice Place to Visit, and it is all about a like career criminal who dies, and he ends up in like a place, and it's kind of like a big casino hotel situation,
Sick.
and he can win all the money he wants, and he's got girls all over him and all the drugs and alcohol and whatever, and every time he gambles he wins, and he meets this character that's like, I'm an angel, and like this is your personal heaven, like we curated this heaven for you, you can have everything you want. And he goes through the episode and he's loving it, and as it goes he's realizing he's not getting the kick. Like his criminal career is because he's an adrenaline junkie, he loved the risk. He like, gambling's no fun if you're always going to win, you
Yeah.
know. And what he finds out is that he's not in heaven, he's in hell. Like at the end
We
of the
just
episode
described
he
the good place.
realizes that, yeah,
But
it's,
yeah.
yeah, 100%. And well, I mean, it's an old, I mean, so many shows revert to the Twilight Zone,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
dude, it's just interesting. It's an interesting thing to think about, and I try to remember that when I'm feeling particularly down about stuff, like the journey, it's the climb, dude. What Miley Cyrus
Yes.
say.
Also, I like to, one of my, like, what's the word? There's a word for it. Like little phrases that you say over and over again. Idioms? No. Idioms? I guess they're idioms.
Yeah, sure.
Idiom.
Mantra.
Yeah. Like, or just more of like an idiom. An idiom that I
Okay.
say all the time is, maybe it's about the friends we made along the way.
Yeah.
Because it's just like,
Yeah.
that is like, we'll be going to a bar and we'll be
Well, it
like, oh
is.
my God, dude, oh, we took a wrong turn. Damn it, it was supposed to be back there. And then randomly I'll be like, hey guys, maybe it's just about the friends we made along the way. You
100%.
know?
No, that's just the truth. That's
It
just the
is.
truth. It's just like, well, think about like a video game. Like, if you could just use cheat codes to get to the end
Yeah.
in a half hour, like, is that fun?
Right.
Is that fun for you?
Exactly.
No, it's like it's overcoming stuff.
I also
Um,
wonder, I
I
think that's why super intelligent people are bored all the time.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Like they sometimes
Yeah.
come off as like assholes, or like some like autistic people that are that come across like maybe cold or like disheartened or something. Like they are so
Hmm.
fucking smart that it's like, it's not really, why am I going to engage in this social performance with you
Yeah,
when
that's
I'm 4 or 5 steps ahead of you. I can't even engage with you because you're not. That sounds very just like holier than thou, but you know what I mean? Like, it's
no,
true. I think
100%.
that it shows in kids too. Kids that are disruptive in class are oftentimes just ahead, and that's what John was like. He would be done with the reading and then disrupt everyone else, and then the teacher would be like, "He's disrupting," and it's like, because he
Right.
got done first.
Yeah, I do think finding like unfortunate. I think one of the unfortunate things about our existence as a human being is that yeah, as we are a societal species. You know, we are
Hmm.
there's a better term for that I can't think of right now, but we are a group
Yeah,
species where we don't just
community.
exist as yeah we yeah that's and we've always been that way. And part of that is social performance, and
Totally.
I think it's like you almost have to find the joy in that, and
Yes,
that's something
and you
that I've
also have to suspend
yeah
a level of like logic and intelligence in order to do that. You know?
yeah yes
Yeah.
it's hard.
Yeah. It's very
Yeah,
difficult
I
because
feel
you think about like, yeah, like the people that are most social, it's like it's almost like an intellect and sociability on some plane
sure.
are kind of at odds with each other. Or you have to like, I don't know how to describe it, but
No,
do you know
I
what I
get what you're
mean?
saying.
If you, or at
It
least if you have if you, to your point, choose to, like, you understand this might be ridiculous. I walk past you and say, "Hey, how are you?" and keep walking. Like, I'm not gonna I didn't actually ask you how are you. I don't want to know how you are. I'm just gonna say, "How are you?" So that you
yeah
know I heard you say, "Hey," and we are exchanging in this back and forth. And it's like the joy in that is that I made someone smile when I said that.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I also think that like they could be different kinds of intellect too. Like I think
Mm,
that there's
hmm, true.
like
Right, emotional
being really
intelligence.
advanced.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
you're
that's
totally
like
right.
this that
Yeah,
social
yeah,
intelligence is a form of
you're
intelligence.
totally
It's just
right.
a different
For
kind.
sure.
But sometimes when you're really strong in one category, it makes another category not just frustrating but like super redundant.
Yes.
Like, and it's just not relatable to you.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's okay.
That's a really
Yeah.
good
But
point.
the point is to like the real like really existing I think as a human being like being a really successful human being is being able to like uh, authentically and joyfully interact with things that aren't exactly up your alley,
Yeah.
if that
Or
makes
like
sense. You
to
know what
be
I mean?
cringe is to be free.
Oh yeah,
Like
100%.
that whole idea
A
of like
hundred
I'm like
percent
actually I don't care if people think I'm
Yeah,
cringe or whatever. It's fine as long as I'm having a good time. Who cares? That's all that
yeah,
matters to
I
me,
saw a
honestly.
meme about that earlier today.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's so good.
100%.
And also, I was just gonna say, I love how we inevitably got so deep, even without trying. I love it. It started
Yep.
off. Where did we start? Your favorite phenomenon, Loch Ness monster,
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
aliens. But then that kind of inevitably flows into okay, what is the other? And how does it differ from who we are? And is it just a part of who we are? And blah 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 blah. It's there's so many. That's what philosophy is and phenomena. I just realized they both start with ph. Is that coincidence? I don't know, but I feel
Synchronicity.
no. Literally, I'm like, this is what's the word? Uh, synergy. Yeah, you said
Synergy.
synchronicity. This
Love
is
it. Yeah.
synergy among the
Yes.
realms of philosophy and phenomena, and because phenomena doesn't have it's unexplained. It
Yeah.
its very nature is to construct a discourse of philosophical prose. Look at me. Oh my
Yeah.
God, she's a poet. Um, am I Edgar Allan Poe? Is it the shirt? I feel like it's giving Edgar Allan
Write a
Poe a
book.
little.
It's giving.
Oh,
Yeah. It's
it's
giving.
giving just period. But I feel like it's like we what was I saying? Hold on, I just lost my train of thought.
You're talking about ending up in this philosophical, like the
Yeah,
natural progression
yeah.
into
And like
philosophical conversation.
like
Yeah.
philosophy is the discourse of back and forth ideating about things that can't be proven. I think things go from philosophy to theory to hypothesis to theory to proven evidential, like scientifically evident things.
Yeah.
And I think just like philosophy by its very nature is open ended, and so is phenomena. So I just feel like they're both like phenomena is the vehicle by which you engage in philosophy about things that you can't explain.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I also think
Does that make sense?
philosophy is like our emotional understanding of of science and just like us as a species and our mind and stuff. Like, yeah, I get what you're saying. And I also think that the more that you do this show, you're going to find that your like general like spiritual and worldview is going to like solidify and change and adapt. And you're going to end up linking everything
I
together. I
know.
think. I
I
think
already
that's just,
am. That's so funny. Well,
yeah,
that's just
well,
the human experience.
of course. Of
But
course.
also
Well,
just
and
I don't
also
know.
you're looking at,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry. What were you saying?
I was just saying you're looking at the most interesting parts of like whether they're like you're gonna end up in spots where you're like I think this is more true than this, but either way, the fact that this exists is a phenomena. Like the fact that it's an idea that we have is a phenomena in
Yeah.
itself. Like yeah, you're
Right.
gonna end up
That's a
yeah
good
yeah
point.
yeah.
Right. Everything
It,
is like it's an inception of phenomena.
right.
Phenomena, which
That's
is the plural.
there was no way that you talked about like us ending up in this conversation starting with me talking at Loch Ness, and I
True.
just think this is it's
This is
dude
the
I
inevitable
because I think
endpoint.
it's all yes this
Yes.
is if you keep talking, you know what I mean? Because I think
I love it.
it's ultimately it's all linked. It's all
It's
linked.
one
Regardless of
giant
what it is.
high
Yeah,
conversation, and I
yeah,
love it. Going back to our love for weed, just the fact that like I
yes,
just feel like those I love high conversations because they
yeah,
have that is levity the word, right? That like lightness about
sure,
them because we're not
yeah,
sitting there being like, oh my
open.
God, and nothing matters. It's more like that other
No,
avenue of like, well, let's the very fact that we even got to get together today and enjoy a conversation of the mind is fun. I feel like a lot of times
yes,
people are like, "Oh, well, you're getting so deep on like a Friday, and we're just at a friend's house," and it's like, cool. If you want to enjoy a lighthearted conversation, you totally can. But I don't think we should ever shame anyone
no,
for
let's get
wanting to be
weird.
like, let's get weird, let's get existential. You know
No,
what I mean? Because it's,
listen,
and then whenever I do, people are like, why are you bringing politics? Not people, but like my family
mm,
members that are more conservative. They're
yeah.
like, you're just making it about something bigger than it is. And it's like, okay, well, then I guess you're just not the type of people I want to converse with. I don't
Dude,
know.
the people that get it. Like it's
Yes, yes,
if the only kinds of shows that you want to
yeah,
consume, whether it be a show, anything,
sure.
if the only kinds of things that you want to consume and engage with are things that don't
Surface level.
challenge you, yeah, completely
Yeah,
whatever, then that's
yeah.
fine. If you're listening to this and you are right on board with us and everything, that's awesome. And if you're listening to this and you're like, I don't agree with them, but this was an interesting whatever, then like yeah, like that's just that's the kind of people we
That's
are,
right.
and that's what we're attracting, and that's what I
Yeah,
try to
and
do
we're
on
not
my show.
shying
That's what you're
away
doing
from
here.
that.
Yeah.
So if you're
No.
also just like, yeah, I wanted this to also feel like people are talking with friends. And I'm
Yeah.
hoping that's what it's gonna give. It's giving
Yeah.
talking with friends. You know what I mean?
What you need to do is you need to have like you need to instruct everyone like, hey, go smoke a fat fucking
Yes,
bowl
yes,
before you listen, so
yes.
that you can make sure you're in the same
Exactly,
frequency. Yeah,
exactly.
that we
Yes,
are.
weed optional. Not
Yeah.
everyone's, that not everyone's cup of tea,
Sure. Yeah.
but highly recommend if you are
Yes.
someone who has developed a good relationship with the weed. I would say
Yes.
it's a great thing to engage in every now and then. It allows you to, yeah, to your point, get on a frequency and just be cool with it without being like, whoa, like why did we get so deep all of a sudden?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's not a necessary tool, but it'll help you tune into this frequency maybe a
That's
little
true.
easier than
That's
without
true.
it.
And then the next episode, I'm gonna instruct everyone to do LSD, and it's gonna no, I'm kidding, I'm kidding, I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Just from there, we're like, DMT
I'm
is next.
nervous.
No, Jesus
I
Christ, I've never done
can't.
DMT. I don't think I ever
Uh,
could. I'm not
no.
that like woke
No, man.
yet.
I
I
can't.
don't know if
I
I ever
got
will be. I think
listen to this conversation. I'm too nuts to be letting my subconscious take the wheel
same,
like that. I
same.
can't.
I'm like, I
No.
need some semblance of control here, and I
Right.
think that's what weed
Yeah.
does. It gets you in a good space where you're still in the driver's seat, but maybe you have the car driving. You know what I mean? It's on.
Yeah.
You have an electric car that's driving itself. And you're there
100%.
to
Yeah.
ensure that, you can steer and
I'm
steer it
there.
away from wherever, but it's like, hey, subconscious, you can have a little slice of the pie. It's nice every
It's a
now
little
and
bit
then to
of
allow your subconscious a little more than because I feel like we're always just suppressing it all day long, all day long, all day long.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. No, 100%. Dude, that's, and I've gotten really into like journaling. Letting my
Yeah.
subconscious like breathe
Yeah.
has been something I'm focused
I
on
love that.
lately. And weed is a part of it. There's many ways to do that. It's meditative.
Yeah.
It can be meditative,
Agreed.
is what we'll say.
I love it.
But yeah.
Yay. Okay. Well, I
Yeah.
guess this is like the perfect time to segue into who you are and what you
Oh,
do and what you want to talk about. If you feel like that's a good place to end, I think we've wrapped it all nice up in a little
yeah.
bow.
Yes, 100%. Well, so the last thing that I'm going to say is I still need you to watch Unacknowledged. I'm going to
Yes, you're
recommend,
right.
I'm going to
Yes.
do a quick recommendation that everyone should watch
Is this
Unacknowledged
the
because
alien documentary thing that you told me about? Okay. Okay.
yes. And so it came out before the Pentagon officially in 2018 said that UFOs are real and before Congress started holding hearings about
Uh-huh.
UFOs. Like regardless of what anyone believes, our government, all the world governments are coming out and addressing and saying that like something is
Yeah.
happening that we don't
Yeah, I've
understand.
heard they
And
come
that
from
can
the
mean
ocean,
anything.
which honestly, like, I'm like, yeah,
It
if they were to come from somewhere, I think the ocean makes the most sense. The ocean's terrifying and it's
Sure, and that's a
boundless.
whole other maybe down the line I'll come on for another
Yeah,
whatever.
why
We'll
not?
be more alien
Hell
focused.
yeah.
But yeah, I recommend that everybody check out Unacknowledged because I think it's in terms of like lending credibility to the idea that something is it it's not up for debate anymore.
Right,
Something
right.
is
Yeah.
going on.
Well,
Either our
it
like
can't be if you live in it's only up for debate if you're still living in this idea of the finite. There is nothing bigger than us. We are all here created by God, and then our whole purpose is to get up to heaven. Like that's the only
sure.
philosophy that would in which aliens or other beings, other intelligent non-human beings
Yeah,
would not exist because it obviously
right.
contradicts with this nice linear perfect picture. But as we've been able to observe, it is never just a nice perfect linear picture. And also, if we did go
Right.
to heaven, we'd want to leave after a
Yeah,
while.
yes.
So
Well, so my I guess my point is that even the people of that train of thought they then
yeah,
have no
right,
choice
right,
but to accept that all of the world governments are
sure,
lying to us
sure,
about something
right,
as weird as
right,
like technologically impossible
yeah,
UAP. Like the reality is that our government is like most logical, like nothing is going on, aliens don't exist, there's no whatever case example, means that they're lying because they're saying
right,
it. It's not a conspiracy that they're saying. We're
right.
talking the leading government of it. We're
It's
not
like
talking
they
just like
have that,
military
right. And it's
personnel.
like, how much
Yes, they're
credibility do you give a government? That's a whole other thing. But
sure.
also, it's like, it's not to
It,
say, I always find that, like, with phenomena and any type of talking about, aliens and
yeah.
other life form, we're using the word aliens, but you know what I mean? Not the like
Yeah,
green
yeah, yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Not
Right.
Francois over here. That's Francois.
Love
I
him.
love Francois. He is an ally. I love him. Or maybe he is part of the LGBTQ community. I don't know. He's on both flags.
I would say so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a dude.
they're not
Do
limited
you
to
like how he's
our
opening time and
concepts of
space?
sexuality. I love it. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Right?
That
He's
makes
like,
the most
"Hello?"
sense to me. That's
Yes,
beyond fitting.
exactly, it's
Yeah.
perfect. So, I feel
Yeah.
like damn it, I lost my train of thought again.
You got it. You got it.
What was I saying?
You were talking about not trusting the government or like not like regardless,
Yeah,
not trusting them. We got it.
I'm like, where was I going with that? I got so my ADHD brain was like, "Francois."
You're good.
I was
Um,
thinking about the how the fact that it can be open-ended. It can like the fact that we can talk about the fact that you are prefacing or that the very language you're using to discuss this is there is something and we don't know what it is, but that of that we can be certain. And that to me
yes.
sounds like a more
Well,
well-rounded and grounded way to talk about it rather than I
yeah.
think conspiracy theorists a lot of times talk in
Well,
hyperbole in absolutes
they
like they're like the government said this and therefore I've dug into this and that means that we are all from the space station Zoltron on this other
right.
galaxy and it's like and then they're like no and that's correct and it's like what like
Right.
it's okay
It's
to live in the unknown because that is where we are. That is reality is the unknown of what it is but we just know that it's
yes.
something different than ourselves.
100%. It's so this is where it rushing to conclusions is not good, no matter what
For
train of
sure.
thought that you have. Which is why I'm super open ended. I have things that make the most sense to me. I have directions that I lean, but that's why you never hear me say like, if I say believe, it's just like a slip of the
Right.
tongue. I don't mean it in the concrete
Sure.
sense that like religions mean it.
Right.
I have ideas and things that make more sense to me than others, but oh, ultimately, I know that like we don't know, but what I can say, the thing that we have to address though, that a lot of people just aren't like they're pulling because they don't have a concrete answer, they're pulling back, is that in the past 7 years, everything changed in the sense that we before 8 years ago we could say there's nothing at all. There's nothing to even address. Like anyone that wanted to be more skeptical could just be
Like
like,
the
no,
whole
there's
tin hat
nothing. Like
thing.
you,
Yeah, yeah.
well, there's no such thing as a UFO. No one's ever seen a UFO. It's all bullshit. It's all lies. Whatever. The reality is that all the world's like major governments are saying no. There is something. So you have no choice. You either accept that there's something, or you accept that they're lying about the biggest thing they've
Right.
ever
And
lied
they
about, and
all
there's
would
a
have
reason for
needed
that
to agree. Like
on a
humans never agree
universal
on
lie.
something. They only agree
Right.
on something when it's unequivocally correct.
Well, correct, or the,
Or that
like
right,
hypothetically,
not
or a
correct, but like
specific
that it is a
agenda.
thing. Like you can't
Right.
be
Well,
like if you're standing there, I can't be like, you're not standing there. That's not real. It's like,
right.
no, you are physically there. It is physically, they are saying,
Yes.
hey, we acknowledge that we also saw the same thing. And again, whether or not it's Tulsa?
Tulpas.
Tulpa.
But
Is it?
but tulpa's real. That's the thing is
Yeah.
even if it's a tulpa,
Right, right, right.
that's not
It's
just
still manifested into
physical
existence, into
reality.
matter
Yes.
that is
Yes. So
that has mass. Yes, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I
So
understand.
the yeah, it's just interesting
It
that we are
is.
now in a spot where you basically have two choices. One's much bigger, but they're both equally scary. Like either all the world governments have universally decided to work together and lie to
No.
us. Just
If they could work together,
but
we would have world
right.
peace.
Sure, but hypothetically, just
Sure.
like even I try to tell myself as someone who loves the alien idea,
Yeah.
I'm like, if they're lying, it's for a bad like them lying about something this
Yeah.
weird is for a bad reason.
Yeah.
Like that's that's scarier to me
That's like
than
they're
there
the
being
aliens and saying, we found someone
it,
else. Look over there. That is
sure
definitely the ones that are bad. And we're all like,
it's
what? It's like a
them yeah.
self-preservation. Ew, I hate that.
Yeah, but more likely, something weird is clearly going on that they don't have the full answer to or don't think that we're ready for yet, and we're going
Yeah.
to find out what that is.
And the
And
experts,
maybe that's
honestly, we believe science. I believe science. And I think people that study physics and the sciences and
yeah.
astrology and whatnot, it's like for the governments to come out and say it, they've had to have some pretty prominent experts in the field
Well,
come to them and say, hey, this is unexplained. Like we have identified that this thing is in fact in our ecosystem. We don't know
yeah.
what it is, but like it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
I don't the world governments don't just say shit because whoever the tyrant is wants to say it.
no.
It's not like Trump
Well,
saying whatever the fuck he wants to say. It's like
sure.
usually it's because have you seen the movie Don't Look Up?
No, actually, not yet. I need
It's
to.
really good. It's really
It's
good.
I've heard that it's really good, and I've heard it really applies to a lot of this kind of stuff.
Yes. I think it's
Um,
Jennifer Lawrence in it and
it's
Leonardo
wasn't that the one
DiCaprio.
with like Leo? Yeah,
Yes.
Leo. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and they
It's
basically are like they go to the government and say, "Hey, there is a hurling asteroid coming toward Earth,
right.
and we cannot stop it. Like you need to let people know." And then basically the government was like, "No, we're gonna continue on with this campaign. Like
Sure.
that doesn't matter." So it's like back to your point. If they're lying about it, there's something even worse happening. But we like to believe that people in positions of power most of the time are going to heavily take the advice of multiple experts into account and
Yeah.
use that as a way to be like, okay, this is credible information. It's not like a
Right.
Facebook link they clicked on.
Yeah, yeah. If it was just that, like, oh, the president of the United States said aliens are
Right.
real, that wouldn't
No,
mean anything to me.
exactly.
We're talking. What
Exactly.
I'm saying is like this is experts.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not just scientists. It's like people that run the fucking
Yeah,
CIA,
yeah.
that run like these crazy like credited, and it's not just them making claims. Like the point is that very credited, credible, power holding people from every world government are coming out and whistleblowing right now. And that is either the most elaborate show for the most absurd thing that's ever, whatever, that we've ever
Sure.
done, or there is something that they're all talking about that they've decided that now, for whatever reason, now is the time to really share it with the rest of humanity. And that could mean all sorts of things. Either way, I want to stress, you talked about acknowledge something. Unacknowledged. Everyone watch Unacknowledged.
Right.
And just like look at who is talking. Look up the people that are talking and try to say that like there's nothing to any of this. That's my
So it's a
challenge.
deep
That's my
dive.
big
It's
thing.
more of a deep dive
Yeah.
into what world governments have come out and said in the last 7 to 8 years about this
It's
matter. Because
well,
and it's I feel like
it
because I've heard rumblings of this.
yeah.
I feel like we all have, but it's like if you want to do more in-depth kind of research or you want to hyperfixate on not hyperfixate, but you know what I mean, deep dive into it, watch this, which is interesting
Well,
as
yeah.
well.
So it's not going to because Unacknowledged came out probably in like 2015, 16. So it's
Oh, right,
before.
right, right,
That's
right.
it. That's
Before
so
that.
so Unacknowledged was incredibly impressive before now, and now it's like
It's
everything.
manifest.
Like I watched Unacknowledged.
Yeah. What is
It's
it? The
happening.
Tulsa? No, I keep saying
It's
Tulsa.
a tulpa,
Tulpa.
true, maybe, but that's the thing is I'm open to
Yeah,
that, but
yeah.
that is still real.
Yes,
Like it's
totally, totally.
regardless, it's happening,
Right.
dude. It's you just gotta watch it to
Yeah.
understand,
I mean, there's a
and
lot of
then
shit.
once
It's
you
similar
watch
to
it,
the Simpsons predicting shit
it's
years
it's
before. You know, it's like
even more,
no,
yeah, but
obviously on a bigger
more,
scale, but I think a
yeah,
lot of people can probably relate it back to the fact that like we're like, oh, Simpsons had an episode about this, the same
yeah,
exact thing, and then now here it happened years later. It's like it really did. Like it
yes,
predicted
Mimi,
it correctly.
Mimi, watch
I will. I
Unacknowledged,
will. I will.
watch it and talk to me, and I promise you're gonna be like, holy shit, and then I'm gonna be like, dude, all you did was crack the door open.
No, I know,
Nonetheless,
which is
open
like
it all
I
the way or
don't know
walk
if I
through.
want to go down
And
the
I'm gonna
rabbit
throw a
hole.
million
I
other
need to
docs at you.
follow my
Yeah.
own advice and keep one foot in
Oh,
reality.
tie yourself up, but also
Bungee
don't
jump.
like you're not gonna have any choice but to fall a bit because like it's
Yeah,
undeniable.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
these aren't ideas.
yeah,
These aren't just ideas. We're talking about like
yeah,
facts.
yeah.
It's either way. Either way. Okay. So you asked me to. My name is Sean Parker. I'm clearly crazy.
No, I
Uh,
love it. Also, really quickly, the tangent.
yes.
You said that you were living with your aunt and uncle, and it literally, I didn't want to
At the
stop you,
time,
but it
yeah.
dawned on me. I was like, oh my God, Peter Parker. You are Parker. Isn't that crazy?
It's the amount of times that people. First off, I love Spider-Man. I've loved Spider-Man since the Tobey Maguire movie came
Oh,
out when I
wow.
was in first grade.
Okay.
Deep love of mine.
Love.
A lot of people love to do any relation to Peter
Yeah,
when they hear my
love it.
name, which is interesting because I feel like Parker's a fairly common last name. It's like Smith.
Yeah.
It's not quite
But
Smith, but
those
it's
people
like,
have been waiting their entire lives to drop that.
yeah,
They're like,
to
I
meet a
need to
Parker.
meet someone with the last name
Right.
Parker so I can say, hey, ever heard of Peter?
Right. Yeah, I love your cousin Peter. He does great work.
Yes.
But yeah, oh my God.
Love it.
That's funny though.
It's
The
just the whole aunt
thing.
and uncle thing. I was like, wait,
Yeah.
are you telling me
Except
that you
instead
are
of
actually
Spider
Peter Parker? And you go,
Right.
"That's
His story's more interesting in that regard. I got shadow people once,
true."
and he got a whole
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
other thing.
No,
Um,
I would love to be able to
but
climb shit like Spider-Man.
I
That'd be sick.
I want a web slinging.
Yeah.
That's my whole thing. Um, I'm Sean Parker. You can find me on all of the socials at hypocrite.inc or hypocrite inc, one of the two. And I have a show. I have a podcast called Mostly Horror. We are a part of Ash and Elena's Morbid Network. Mimi has come on and hung out with us once. Funny enough, I wrote down our handles because I don't always remember them, and I crunched it up while we were recording without thinking about it. So on Instagram, we are Mostly Horror Pod, and on TikTok, Twitter, pretty much anything else, we are Mostly Horror. We're on any place you can listen to your podcast. We're not quite on YouTube yet, but I've been talking with Mimi a lot
Yeah.
about getting some stuff over there, so cool things coming in the future. And we just explore the horror genre. We have different people on to talk about it as an art form
Oh, and the
as
episode I was on was kind of just like an off week where Steve was out of town, and so you typically interview like directors and actors and people in the
Sure.
space. Like I didn't want people to think that just because I was on it, like I was kind of in a filler episode, so to speak.
No,
right?
I will. So I want to. I don't want you to dismiss
Okay.
yourself that way because what I'll say is like, yes, yes. A lot of the time we're talking to directors and actors, like we've had, but it's also like illustrators. We basically talk to a lot of people that contribute to the genre, but we also talk to various creatives and online personalities and interesting people that love the
Oh,
genre
cool.
or genre-related things.
Nice.
You are not a filler episode.
Okay. Oh, thank you.
You perfectly fit what we're doing,
Yes. I
and
practiced
you're
so
just
long.
yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. But yeah, we've had all sorts of great guests on. We've had Sydney Sweeney, we've had Halle
Controversial.
Berry,
No, I'm
we've
kidding.
had Tim. Yeah, controversial now.
Now.
It's
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
gotta
yeah.
say, yeah, that's been weird. But yes, we have had her on before all of that happened. But yeah, we've had a bunch of people on. It's a fun
Have you ever
time, and
talked
we
to
just
Tim
talk about
Burton?
this genre. No, not yet. I would love to. He's also controversial though.
Is he? Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
yeah, there's a lot, and also we've kind of dogged on him a bit over the course of the show. I love
Oh,
him.
okay.
I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
a lot. He just his earlier work is better. I think as he
Yeah.
became more
Yeah.
mainstream and got more money, he
Totally.
got less interesting.
Yeah. As they all do.
Limitations are better for creativity.
Mhm, mhm, totally, yes.
But
Yeah, that's a
yes,
great point, and you also I know we talked about this, but you're almost through your show, Mostly Horror, are keeping
mhm,
the conversation around the horror genre alive and well. Not to say that that's obviously a growing genre, but I feel like a
yeah,
lot of the times it still fights for a place in the table when talking about films, when as it
yeah,
relates to best picture, as it relates to, you know, all these accredited certified um accolades to
mediums.
strive
Yeah,
for when as it relates to cinema. I feel like horror is almost never on there, except for, you know, Parasite was one of the ones that kind of swept
sure.
and really broke through the zeitgeist, I guess, of
Yeah,
it. But I feel like, yeah, I your podcast is making it so that people are like, no, let's all talk about horror as a very prominent, very respected genre of film. It's not just this kitschy, like slasher films type thing.
it's well genre of art and the human expression, like because it's been horror has been discredited in cinema,
Yeah.
in books, in fine art. Like it's and the reality is that the world that we live in is scary and strange and unusual, and having a place to express that in a variety of ways, everything from like truly terrifying and upsetting and violent to goofy and comedic, like they're all so valid. And yeah, that's bringing credibility to that genre and talking with the amazing people that make it, everything from like big Hollywood stars to indie filmmakers
Yeah.
and various creatives. Um,
And even going as
that's what
far
we
as
want
like
to do.
thrillers and psychological thrillers and anything that,
That's all.
yeah, it's not just
It's mostly horror.
right,
Mostly horror. It's
right.
all the same thing to me. It's where
Ooh,
horror.
we didn't plan
That's
that.
what
We
the
did
show's
not
about.
plan that. Did we
No,
plan that?
it's
We didn't plan that.
but that's what the show's about. It's about the horror that exists in other mediums, like
Yeah.
the horrific scene in the comedy, in the action movie, in the kids movie.
Right.
We talk about all of it.
Yeah, I
It's
love
fun. It's a fun
that.
time.
And then, of course, you also do digital art and prints
Oh
and yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so I make art too. I do the drawing thing. I'm kind of getting back into the commission world. Used to do the TikTok thing a lot with that. Yeah, so I make art. It's I won't lie and say it's like my main gig, but it is something that I've always loved, and it's I do it I do it
Pretty
occasionally
professionally.
professionally is
Yeah,
what I'll say. Yeah,
totally.
yeah. So that's yeah.
Yeah,
The show became
I
top
bought
tier.
a sweater from Sean a couple of years ago, which is how we even started talking. And then throughout the years, we've
Yeah,
kept in touch and have grown our friendship throughout the years, which is amazing.
yeah.
And but yeah, I have this spooky witch, and it says Hypocrite Ink at the bottom, and I love living in it in the month of October because it's great. I get awesome looks sometimes when I'll wear it to like a CVS, and people are like, "That's a scary witch," or you
I
know,
love
especially
it.
with older people, and I'm like, "Yeah, bask in
Yeah.
the glory of this horror." But you have just awesome prints that are for sale. You also do commission work, and you're potentially
Yes.
going to design some stuff for Phenomena, which is very exciting
Yeah.
because
Oh,
I
dude, I can't
love
wait.
your work so much that I'm like, oh my God, if we can somehow cross collab this and solidify
Yeah.
it and immortalize it into like a piece of merch or something, that'd be cool. But yeah, all of your designs up as merchable items?
Not every
Great.
design I've ever done, but I have a lot of stuff in my. You know where to click. The links in the bios. You'll see I got different stores. I got stuff for prints and stuff for clothes, and I'm always kind of switching things out. And but yeah, you dude, you've always been So kind and so supportive, and look at you gassing me up on the whole segment of my life that I even forgot about on your show here. Like, thank you so much.
Of
You've always
course.
been really, really supportive, and I
Yeah, I
appreciate it
love it.
immensely.
I love it too.
Yeah.
And you've also helped expand my mind in terms of drawing because I'm always like, oh, I can't draw from my mind. I can only draw when looking at things. And you're like, well, what is
Nah,
drawing
dude.
if not starting off somewhere and then adding things as you
Yep.
go along? And it's just practicing that muscle in your brain. So, yeah, I like that.
100%.
You should do a TikTok series inspiring people to draw out of their comfort zones.
Once I get a little bit better at once I get more control over my creative
Yes,
abilities,
fair.
maybe then I'll
I
help
just think
people
you've
out of
done
the
you
dark.
the way you described it helped me really understand it. Like
Thank
it made a
you.
lot of sense to me. So you could be a good
Yeah.
drawing instructor as well. But yeah,
Thank you.
of course.
Yeah.
Thank you so
I
much,
just have
Sean. Oh, sorry, what were you
Of
saying?
course. No, I was just gonna say I have a few things I gotta connect, but maybe I'll get there. I would love to get there. I really appreciate you saying that, and I gotta think about that
Yeah.
a bit. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
But of
It's just
course,
the way
thank
of
you for
thinking that
having
I
me.
don't think I have ever. It's like a mental barrier. It's like the whole thing where I was like, you guys should be on YouTube. And you're like, what? It,
Yeah, dude.
that whole thing, it's just
Perspective.
it's like, it's a perspective thing where I think if you
Yep.
were to share it, a lot of people would be like, wait, that's a good point. Like, why am I putting this
Yeah.
barrier on myself that I can't draw when you just like, okay, so do something adjacent until you get there.
Dude, it's crazy to realize what mental barriers you have in your head. Like walls that you think are like fundamental
Yeah.
that aren't.
Yeah.
That you can break
Yeah.
down and be more free.
Yeah.
You're caging yourself in, man.
For
Yep.
sure, dude.
I'm working on breaking down mine.
That's
So,
right. I love it. Thank you so much, Sean. I
of
appreciate you for
course.
being on the very first pilot episode of Phenomenon
Yes.
Seance.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. It truly was an honor, and I had a blast.
Yay, me
Yeah.
too. And yeah, everyone go check out Sean, Hypocrite Inc., mostly horror. He's got some awesome stuff. I guarantee he is a great follow on all platforms. Thanks so much, everyone. Oh, do you know our tagline?
I actually don't right off the top of my head. I'm so
Okay, no,
sorry.
no
I'm
worries.
blanking.
We'll do it
It.
together. Ready? You
I'll
can
know it when you
and
say it.
remember, you can always explore the
Explore
rabbit
the
hole
rabbit hole
without
out,
falling
falling all the way in,
all the way down.
all the way in,
Yeah,
all the way
yeah,
down, all the way
yeah,
down.
yeah,
Yes, yes, yes,
yeah. Yay!
yes, yes. I was
So
like, I know that it's in there. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Explore the rabbit hole as much as we want. You can always enjoy in discourse, but just don't fall all the way down. Don't lose the plot, so to speak.
Dude, and thank you for reminding me of that because I'm slipping.
We all do. We all do. That's why it's up to us to keep each other
Yes.
vigilant. All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.